Hey guys, it's Shanice. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome if you're new. So recently, in the last couple of months, I've been constantly getting the question, where to next? And it always catches me off guard because I never realized how much I travel until someone actually points it out. And it's crazy because the other day, someone told me that they wanted to do more travel content and asked, how do I travel so much? So I wanted to do a video on some of the tips that I utilize when it comes to going on trips and making sure I can meet my travel goals for the year. As we plan for 2024, I thought it would be a great idea to give you guys some tips. Please note, this isn't a one model fits all. Everyone has different factors that allow them to travel more or travel less, whether you have a car and maybe some of that money that you're getting paid is going towards a car note. Maybe you live at home and you're able to save more money. Maybe you have rent, so you can't pay as much towards your trip because you have rent to pay. Everyone has different factors, so I want you to know that, again, this video isn't a one model fits all, but I will be going over 5 tips. Utilize whichever one makes sense to you. These are just tips that make sense to me, and I thought they would be helpful if you are trying to travel more in 2024. Okay, so the first tip is to create a travel savings account, but not just any savings account. You want to create a high yield savings account. Typically, high yield savings account has a higher APY rate, which means annual percentage yield. For example, if I put in $20 to high yield savings account, at the end of the month, they give you an additional percentage on your money. For typical savings account that's just like attached to your debit account, you may get a 0.01 cents added onto that every month. For a high yield savings account, depending on the amount that you have in the account, they'll put on way more than that. So for example, you may get $5 added onto your account, $10 added onto your account. It just depends on how much you have in that account. And you want to make sure that you're putting in a little bit, maybe each paycheck. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you want to make sure that you're doing this because each month you're getting free money onto the money that you already have in that account. It's one of the best things. I really, really love it. I just got my high yield savings account back in May, so I've been able to kind of save up for when I want to go on like a bigger trip. With this, I know it is very, very hard to budget in this day and age right now, as inflation is like through the roof. Things that should be costing $2 are costing $5 and $7. It's literally insane. So do what makes sense to you, but do make sure you are putting money aside if you are going on a trip. Every little bit counts. That little bit can go towards excursions or the hotel, something. So make sure you are putting, just a little bit of money aside. Some of you may be asking, what high yield savings account do you have? I recommend Marcus. It has, I think, about a 5.4, or I think it's a 5.4 rate right now. But you can look into a lot of places. They have high yield savings account. Apple has it, American Express. Just do your research, search it on Google, and you should be able to find some of the best high yield savings account. Do not get intimidated. It's nothing crazy to sign up for it. I know a lot of people hear it and then they probably get intimidated, but it's really, really easy. Number 2 is to create airline and hotel accounts. Personally, I haven't done the hotel accounts as of yet because typically when I go away, I'm always with a travel group or I'm always staying at an Airbnb, so I never really had to do the hotel accounts. But I recommend anytime you are booking a flight, make sure that you are booking it through like your airline account. For example, if you are going on a Delta trip, you want to make sure that you have a Delta account. Typically, the reason you're doing this is when you buy a ticket and you have actually flown on that flight, you will get the points accrued from that flight. So once you keep accruing points from different flights that you have taken, you can then use these points that you have accrued all along to buy future flights. And it is literally chef's kiss when you can use your points instead of money to buy a flight. Okay, it's a cheat code that you should know and abide by. The third tip is utilizing travel groups. For me, I personally love travel groups because it takes the energy of planning things out of my hands. I also love traveling with travel groups because you'll always know the budget ahead of time for that specific location. Let's say we're going to Greece. They'll always put up, let's say it's $2,200 for the budget included. And you'll see everything included, whether they include hotels, excursions. Sometimes travel groups include the flight, sometimes they don't. So make sure to note that. But I love traveling with travel groups because you know the budget ahead of time. So you know how to plan out and divide and conquer, that amount when it's time. In addition, for the travel groups that include the flight, this makes it so easy because, sometimes flight prices go up and down, up and down. So this just allows you to not have to worry about that. All you have to worry about is that set budget. Another thing about travel groups, if you're looking to make friends or just meet new people, it's a great way to meet new people. There are a lot of travel groups that are, popping up everywhere. So you can meet new people depending on your interests or just for the love of traveling, especially if you're a solo traveler who likes to travel by yourself, but you like to be in the company of other people. Travel groups may be the way you want to do it. The fourth tip is only for the responsible people. You have to know yourself if you're responsible financially. Are you financially responsible? You got to answer that question. But yeah, this tip is to sign up for a travel credit card. A lot of the airlines have travel credit cards attached to them. For example, Amex has a partnership with Delta. JetBlue has their own partnership with Barclays. I'm pretty sure United and American Airlines have their own credit cards as well. I love Delta and JetBlue Airlines. That's the two that I fly with the most. But you want to make sure that you are researching before you just sign up for any credit card. Pay attention to what airlines you fly with the most and how to get the most, bang for your buck, if that makes sense. Different credit cards have different reward systems, so it's all up to you in what you are looking for. Credit cards need to be used responsibly, but they are a great way to earn points on your everyday purchases. For example, if you're using your Amex Delta credit card on everyday purchases like your Starbucks in the morning or your lunch in the afternoon, you're getting points on these simple purchases, and you want to make sure that you're paying that money back. But with these points that you're earning, you're able to utilize them later on and utilize them for flights. Oh, and I forgot as well, typically credit cards will have sign-on bonuses, which are great for you. For example, JetBlue had a credit card special where they gave 70,000 points for signing up if you spend $1,000 within the first 3 months. With inflation going on now, it's easy to spend $1,000 within 3 months. So imagine doing that on a credit card. You're able to get your $70,000 points up front and be able to book a flight. I'm going to stress being financially responsible. You don't want to be spending $1,000 all willy-nilly and thinking that it doesn't have to be paid back. Please, if you're going to do this, again, make sure to do your research and make sure you are being financially responsible. And the last tip is to utilize travel sites to find deals ahead of time. So this also plays into how you work. So for example, I work a 9 to 5, but it's hybrid. I work in the office sometimes and I work remotely sometimes. There are other people who work only in the office and there are other people who work all remotely. Kudos to y'all. But you want to make sure that you are aware of this because this can help you figure out when are the best times to travel. For example, someone who works remotely may be able to travel a full week and be okay. Some people who are working 9 to 5, you may have to axe off for some time and you may want to travel maybe a Thursday to a Monday. It all just depends on you and how long you want your trip. I would say also utilizing when a specific holiday is coming up. For example, holidays like Thanksgiving or Indigenous Peoples Day in the US is not always a holiday outside of the US. So you can kind of utilize this to get better deals for that specific trip that you're going on. One of the sites that I love to use when it comes to looking up deals, it's a site everyone uses, Google Flights. But when you're looking up on Google Flights, please make sure you're clearing your cache. I think it's called cache and your cookies, because typically if you're visiting certain like sites looking up a certain flight all the time, your computer is capturing all of that data and sometimes will push up the price of the flight. So you want to make sure that you're clearing your cache before buying a specific flight. But typically I'll use Google Flights. They'll show you the price ahead of time. I've also used Hopper to go on flights. I love Hopper because sometimes you can see a price, and if you are not sure if you kind of want to book this one yet, you can pay down a little bit and save that price and then pay when you're actually ready. But yeah, and also another thing about Google Flights, it allows you to track that specific flight, so you can track it to see when it'll go up, when it'll go down. There are also a lot of other travel sites that allow you to look up deals. I personally only really use Google Flights and Hopper, but again, you can do your research on Google to find other sites that have travel deals as well. So those are my 5 tips. I also want to just say you can also do road trips and staycations if you're looking to travel more and don't always have the money to pay to get on the plane to go somewhere. I've been wanting to do more like road trips to places within inside of the United States. So it all just depends on what your heart desires and where you're trying to go. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down below. You can also check out some of my travel vlogs on my channel if you are interested in traveling to places, for example, like St. Thomas, Antigua, Miami, Costa Rica, Jamaica. Look them all up. They're on my channel. And I hope that this video was very helpful for you guys. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like down below. Typically, YouTube's algorithm will push it out to more people who like the video just as much as you. I'm wishing you the best of luck on your travel goals for 2024. And until next time, bye guys.